Stoppage time. It's Friday. The panel of four. I'm Lawrence Presman. Nick Borman with us, Carmine Bianco, and Kevin Dolan. The Sports Wolf 83. That's where you could find him. Last week, Kev, we had your wrong Twitter handle up. My bad, even though it was completely your fault. How are you, my friend?
Very good, very good.
That's it? You're like my child. How was your day?
Good. You want a joke?
Irish people make jokes?
Quite funny.
Let's go. Start the show with a joke.
Oh, Jesus. Don't put me on the
You
spot. No,
offered a joke. You offered a joke. I guess in a way, Kev, that is a joke.
You want to hear a joke?
Maybe I should come back to you for the joke so you could...
Women's rights.
Women's rights. Okay. Carmine Bianco, you're making gnocchi today. I'm picking up some. How are you, my friend? What's going on in your world? Carmine?
Who are you talking to? Oh, you're talking to me.
Yeah, you think
good,
Nick's
man.
making gnocchi?
I wasn't sure. I was waiting for that joke, and then it just kind of stopped. But things are good. Big weekend ahead for all three of us as German Bundesliga restarts. So excited about that. I told you guys before the show what I did, but for the viewers out there, I decided to hit Home Depot before the show, and I went there, and there's this monster lineup outside waiting to get in. And I decided to do an end around. I had a Home Depot shopping bag. I threw a couple items into it, walked up to the flower center that says exit only, and they had a security guard there. And I'm like, guy, I forgot my cell phone in there. I got to go back and get it. And the guy's like, yeah, go ahead. He lets me through. I go in, I do my shopping, grab some stuff, and then I take off the same way, holding up my cell phone as I leave and thanking the security guy. So I saved myself about 45 minutes in line.
Are you proud of yourself?
I'm very proud of myself.
Excellent. Nick Borman, our scratch golfer, our resident PGA card carrying holder, the youngest man in this group. How's your last couple of days been, my friend?
Don't forget best looking. But last couple of days have been
I forgot it. or was that Kevin's joke?
That's a good joke. That's a good joke, Nick. I'm good, man. Things are great. I'm looking forward to getting out. It's 80 degrees today, so I'm going to try to get out on the course this afternoon, although I can't get a tee time anywhere till about 6 o'clock tonight because every course is freaking packed. But all's good, man.
You're the only person on this show that knows what 80 degrees is, and that, my friend, is a shame. David Chan, welcome. David Gerard, welcome. David Tabati, welcome. 3 Davids and a Kane. How are you, Kane? Hope you're well. Love having all of you guys with us. We do this show every Wednesday and Friday, stoppage time. And last Wednesday, we had a request for Nick Borman to sing stoppage time. Carm, you want to give it a go?
No, I have a face for radio and a voice for the shower. That's
and you thought Nick's voice was good?
Nick was very good. Actually, Nick was very good. Nick could fill in for one of the guys on that group, Finger 11.
There's a group. There is a group. I don't know any of their songs, but anyway. Boys, we're going to talk everything related to soccer, including why the ball is round. A very, very hot and important topic at this time. We'll leave that till the very end. Any of you guys watched the Seinfeld special?
No, I didn't know there was a special. I love Seinfeld, but I didn't know there was a special.
I did. I'm a huge Seinfeld fan. I saw him when he performed live a couple of years ago. I think it was in Hamilton, Ontario. And that show was entertaining. But let me tell you, I watched the Netflix one, and I just didn't find it funny. A lot of the times you watched it, he just kind of yells like he would do on the show, like with that voice, and it's to get a reaction. I just think his comedy is still from like the 90s, and he's trying to incorporate some of the stuff now from present day. I just didn't find it funny. I'm a Sebastian Maniscalco fan now. I enjoy his stuff. And I don't know. I didn't find. I give the Seinfeld thing probably at best a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave it around a 6. David Gerard, you can find it on Netflix. It's an hour stand up, and listen, I'm a Bill Burr guy through and through. I think him and Jim Jeffries are probably the two best comics on the planet right now.
Yeah,
and they're very, very edgy. The problem with Seinfeld, and Carm, you kind of hit the nail there, was it's old. It's just the concepts were really good. You know, the line about how when he got married, he didn't realize that his tone would always be in question. You know, no male realizes it's about their tone. It's like a lifetime of marriage. You got to watch your tone at all times. Who knew? That concept is good, and there are a lot of fun, good concepts. His jokes aren't tight. They're too long. He has 2 punchlines for each joke, which I never like. So I was unimpressed. But Bill Burr, oh my God. He's got 4 specials up on Netflix. They are must-see. Let's get into it, boys. A busy weekend in soccer in front of us. South Korea, Belarus, and Germany in action. We're going to start with South Korea. Guys, I know Carmine's screen keeps moving and jumping over into Nick's face. I don't know how to prevent that, so just bear with it. Carm, let's go to you, man. What's going on in South Korea after your big 4-0 weekend?
Yeah, we kicked off the season opener very well. Nick did as well too. I'm not really sure why I'm jumping over into Nick's screen. I'm not trying to invade his space or anything.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, no.
Never ends,
I've got a 2-pack up now at WagerTalk, but I've got a free play. This one goes early Sunday morning. I think it's like a 3 a.m. or 6 a.m. game, depending on the website. I think shows it in Pacific time. But it's the this is in the FC Seoul game. They're at home against I'll probably pronounce this wrong, but Gwangju FC. Kevin will tell me if I pronounce that right later. I'm going to go over 2.5 in this game. I was surprised they lost their opener. They actually held the lead for the first 56 minutes of the game before they fell apart. They allowed a couple goals in the last 5 minutes of the 90, and they lost 3-1 in that game. I think this is a good bounce back spot for them. But I'm actually looking at the total instead, because historically these teams just seem to put up big numbers when they face each other. You know, the last 7 have gone over the current total of 2.5. It's 2.5 minus 106. The last 7 have gone over the total, averaging 4 goals per game. And 5 of the last 6 in Seoul have gone over the total with a 4.4 goals per game average over those games. You know, both these teams having lost their openers, they're going to want to pick up the 3 points here. They're not looking for single point draws. So I think this is going to be a lively one on Sunday. So I'm going to go over the total of 2.5.
Nick, your thoughts, South Korea? You had a monster, absolute gigantic 6-1 Sunday in soccer. You're on a massive run. You're seeing it in every league right now. Where are you going in the SK? Look at me, hey. I've just got acronyms.
I had a good opening weekend as well, 3-0 last weekend. I got a 2-pack up right now for Friday night going into Saturday. I haven't looked at the card for the next following night going into Sunday, which Carm was just covering. I was just kind of quick looking at that game he was mentioning there, and I do like that overplay that you threw out there, Carm. So I don't have a free play in this league. I do have a couple free plays up in Germany and Belarus, so I don't have much right now to offer as far as analysis on any of the games that are out there. But I'm going to keep looking at this league as we go forward, and again until all 5 of the big leagues, well, I guess 4 since France isn't coming back, are back in action. I'm going to keep looking at all these other leagues, and Carm's been tweeting out the last couple days that at the end of this month we got a lot of other leagues coming back, so we'll get into that later. But right now I don't have a lot to offer here in any particular game.
He's Nick Borman. You can find him at sportsmemo.com, and we got an announcement coming in the next couple of weeks about Nick Borman that's very exciting. Kevin Dolan, how did you do this past weekend in soccer, my friend?
Yeah, we won again. Like over in Belarus, our 4% play pushed, but then we won on the 3% play on Sunday. So overall winning week. We've won the last 3 straight weeks now in Belarus, 5 of the last 7 weeks. So it's all been good.
So before I ask you about your opinion on what's going on in South Korea and some free picks there, I'm looking at the three of you guys, and I'm looking at Kevin, who comes up with a winning weekend and has won 3 weeks in a row. Carmine, who just keeps winning. Months and months. If you look at his 1 week winning week, you look at your winning from a week perspective. You went 4-0 on Sunday. Nick Borman, who is just smoking it, 6-1 in his last 7, had a dominant weekend. And I have a person in the chat room that says you can't handicap games without fans and untrained legs. I never knew how to train legs. Perhaps the Tiger King could help with that. Maybe you whip him. How do you train legs? But anyway, how is it that the three of you guys just constantly win in an environment with no fans in the stadium and untrained legs? Carmine?
I'll jump in because I did see that question in the stands. And, we talked about the last show is, we're always reevaluating our opinions on games and leagues as we go on. But you have to remember, before this German restart and before the Belarus and before South Korea starting, Turkey's Super League were playing in empty stadiums, and we were handicapping those games, and it helped formulate ideas on how some of these games are going to be played. And in Germany, a couple of games before they went to this 2-month break were played in empty stadiums. So it's something that's not unfamiliar to us. We're used to it, and we'll gauge it as we go. But it's still quality versus quality when these teams are on the field. Having an empty stadium doesn't equate to games going under or games going over or dogs now covering.
Carm, I was slightly facetious on my question. Do you know that's the only word in the English language where A, E, I, O, U follow each other consecutively? Only one.
No.
Wow.
I think I knew that at one point, but
Zion Betts, welcome to the show. Great work on winning your game. El Duque, listen, brother, you can. We love having you. Brian Watson, nice to see you, and Abel, of course. Abel, these guys, man, I'm telling you, I feel like we're all friends. We're gonna do a party in Vegas at some point, and hopefully you guys will come down. Kevin Dolan, South Korea, what do you got for us for this weekend?
Arguably the biggest buzz game of the week is going to be Daegu hosting Pohang. The reason for that is Daegu are a young team. The other reason, Daegu have traditionally been very bad, but in the last number of seasons they've slowly climbed the table through good management. They've got a lot of investment. Last season they finished 5th, so a lot of Koreans are interested to see if they can break into the top 4. Look, we know about Jeonbuk, we know about Ulsan, we know about FC Seoul. Pohang are in that top 4, top 5. They're one of the top teams in the country. So this is almost going to be like a changing of the guard game. People are interested in that regard. You got the young team in Daegu. You got the traditional team in Pohang. So they're going at it. It's a close line. It's around a quarter of a goal line, and it's just interesting in that regard. As well as that, Daegu have a very international full forward line. Damjanovic, he's from Montenegro. Edgar, Cecina from Brazil. So there's a lot of international flavour, and that's the game that I see most Koreans talking about this week in terms of that game. I would lean towards the over. The total line is set at over 2.25 goals. That's the way I would lean. However, I'm a little bit I want to see a couple of weeks in the bag. I didn't start capping Belarus until week 4, and it's the same with South Korea. I want to see a couple of weeks go by before I start getting involved with my money, so to speak. So again, that's the way I'd lean. Very interesting game just from a standpoint, just to see if they can actually break into the top 4. And over 2.25 goals is the way I'd look.
He's Kevin Dolan. You can find him at WagerTalk.com. The only man on this panel who wrote a book on sports handicapping. Nick and Carm, have you read it? You say yes.
I have not. I want an autographed copy sent along with a nice bottle of Irish whiskey as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't want the Irish whiskey, but you want to send me a book that I'll never read? I will put it on the shelf, brother. But Nick, you did read the book, right? I mean, that's where you cut your teeth, which, by the way, are extremely large. Just want to throw that out there.
It's just the camera angle. Maybe I have small gums. That it's all about the balance. I don't know. The book, fantastic, Kevin, and I thank you for the signed copy that you did send me. It's on my mantle, and I pretty much go to sleep with it every night. So it's a good read. Definitely must get it, and I think you'll enjoy it for sure. Prez, you got
that was.
Nick, your nose is growing larger.
Brian Watson, we all bet Simone Simon. I gave it out on the show as well. Way to go, dude. Way to grab that 5% pick and cash it. Boys, Nick, I'm going to you with the Belarus Soccer League. Starts round 9. I'm a little bit all over the map because I'm trying to figure out how to get my hands on Kevin Dolan's book. I mean, it moves like hotcakes on Amazon. Nick, talk to us. Belarus, baby.
All right, Belarus. So there's a game I really like. I have full write-up posted up on the Sports Memo page right now, but Brest is the play I'm going to give out as my free play this week. They go to Energetic, and Brest is defending champs. They actually broke Bates' 13-year run as champions last year. They were fantastic. They had one single loss in 30 games last year at 23-6-1. They had a 70-22, so plus 48 goal differential, and they were unbeaten on the road, which is pretty remarkable. Last year, Energetic finished number 12 in the table. They had a 8-9-13 record, and they were the worst defense in the league. They conceded 66 goals. The reason they weren't relegated or right at the bottom of the table is because they ended up scoring 52 as well. So very high scoring and very high conceding team. But I'm not looking at the total in this one. I'm looking at Brest on the side right now. If you look at them where they stand right now, they're right next to each other in the standings. But the numbers are still way in Brest's favor, even though the results haven't quite gotten to their side yet. They lead the league, Brest does, in shots on goal per game. They have 8.1 on goal per game. The league average is 5, and Energetic is just below that at 4.9. And on top of that, Brest is scoring at a very low rate. I've talked several of the last few weeks about conversion rates and how those tend to work towards league averages over time. So they're taking the most shots in the game, and they're not scoring anywhere near right now the league average rate. They're scoring once every 5.9 shots on target, while the league scores once every 4.2 shots on target. So if they can continue their offensive onslaught and just start scoring at even a regular clip, they should have no problem getting up 2 or 3 goals in this game. Energetic is just not putting up the offense. And my numbers, just if they just put up purely averages, it's a 2-1 game without even trying. But Brest has really been the better team in the series between them as well. They won one of the games last year 6-2, Energetic. So they are clearly the better side. All the numbers are pointing at them. 125 on the 3-way line. That probably goes up a little bit. It may crest into that split line of -0.5, -1. So I would take this sooner rather than later. But I like Brest here, Belarus this weekend, Press.
Kev, you're killing it in the Belarus Soccer League. Look, everybody is energetic about Brest. I like side Brest.
Nice.
Nick likes side Brest. What are your thoughts on side Brest?
Well, I'm going to cheer you up here because my free play is going to be on Brest, but a different
Well,
one.
I mean, what man's free play isn't on Brest?
I'm going to be playing Rook Brest for my free play. So it's Smolovic at Rook Brest. I like this game.
There's 2 Brests?
There's 2 Brests.
Oh, I mean, one breast would look pretty weird.
Oh, God.
I hope Rick Alec is not listening to this show.
Sorry, Rick.
Smolovic at Rook Brest is going to be the 2%. Done the full write-up over WagerTalk, but, just to summarize it, Rook Brest, they're unbeaten in their last 5. Smolovic come off 3 straight defeats, but in fairness, that was a kind of who's who in the Belarus league. 3 weeks ago, they lost to Dynamo Minsk. They finished like 4th last season. They also lost to Energetic. They were 4th on the table this year. And then they were involved like an absolute shootout last week, 5-3 against Beit Borisov. Nick just talked about how good Beit Borisov, like 12, 13 straight titles. They're, the face team of this league. And Smolovic were very unlucky to come out of that game with 0. I mean, they fell 3-1 behind. They came back to 3-3. Eventually, lost at late 5-3. Really entertaining game. And I would also say Smolovic are one of the few teams that actually play. We see this in every league. They're one of the few teams who play better on the road than they do at home. So I expect them to do pretty well here. They've only lost one game on the road all season. That was to Islok early in the season. And again, that was a 1-0. Islok got a very late goal in that. So potentially, they were in a position to come out of that game with something. Rook Brest are the same. They only gave up 0.67 goals at home. They've only lost once at home as well. So I see this being a tight, cagey affair. We talked about the correlation between totals, the over-under, and the result of a likely game as well last week. It's the same. This goal line set at 2. Both of these teams, especially Rook Brest, don't allow a lot at home. I see the value being on a draw. I was looking at Smolovic plus the half a goal. I think the outright draw plus 249 we're getting on that. I think that's a value play, and that's something that I'll be on this Sunday.
Kevin Dolan with us. All three guys, soccer experts extraordinaire, Nick Borman, Carmine Bianco, and Kevin Dolan. Steve Terry, welcome, my friend. Jan, welcome to the chat room. T. Cole, love having all of you guys here. If you've got any questions, let the boys know. We're going to talk Germany, and then we're going to do a European update. But before we get into that, one at a time, Nick, what do you got up for sale? Any promotions for you? Is SOC99 still active?
It is active through tomorrow, yes. So that's the 30-day access for soccer for $99. So, yes, that's active through tomorrow. I have $2 play of the week, 5% going in Germany on Saturday morning. So that's up right now. And I actually have a second 5% play on the same day on Saturday, which is very, very rare. This is only my third 5% of the month. So to have 2 on one day is pretty unique. So that's up as well. 2-pack in South Korea and another 2-pack in Germany. So a lot up there for sale right now. Good time to hop on board, maybe get a 3-day because we got Germany action all weekend. But yeah, I'm excited about this weekend. I think it's going to be very good. I love some of the numbers that are out there. So that's what I have up right now.
Excellent, my friend. And guys, SOC99, that's the promo code over at Sports Memo. $99 for a month of Nick Borman. Carm, what promos you got up? What's your card look like for this weekend?
I have on Sunday, I have a 5% play in the Bundesliga. On Saturday, I also have a 3-pack currently up for the games. Obviously, all those games go at 9:30 in the morning. And then the other thing that I also have up is South Korean, a 2-pack, and that goes 1 a.m. in the morning is the first game Saturday morning. So it's a early start. I have, and I put this out maybe twice a year. I have a promo up at WagerTalk where you can get a full year of soccer for $500 off. You use promo soccer 500. And it drops the price from $9.99 to $4.99. So that's basically 73 cents. 73 cents a day.
How much a minute?
A cup of coffee.
That's a great deal though. $4.99. I mean, think about it. You're paying $99 for a month of Nick and 5 times that for a year of Carmine. That's a great package. What's the promo code?
And the promo code is soccer 500. The thing to remember is soccer is a 365-day-a-year sport. There's, even on Christmas Day, you'll find games. So unlike, let's say, an NFL season where you buy a yearly package and it's 6 or 7 months, this goes right through the summer when it's like the dog days of baseball and there's nothing else to bet on. There's European tournaments like the Copa America, the CONCACAF Gold Cup, the Euro 20, which will be the Euro 2021 next year. And then the World Cups. So there's a ton of soccer throughout the year. So it's a great package.
If any of you guys are musicians, please Put together a stoppage time song for us. We'll play it, but it needs to be like the Creed song. I think that's the band. Stoppage time. Do 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 do. Kevin, what do you got for this week? I'm counting here. It looks like you got 5 or 6 plays. Any promos up?
No promos as of yet, but we've got 6 plays loaded up on site. We have a 4% best bet over in Belarus on Saturday, another 4% loaded up for Sunday's games. Turning, we've got a 2-pack in the Bundesliga for Saturday, and also a 4% kind of game of the week for Sunday in the Bundesliga, and also we're on the free play that I just discussed, Smolovic at Rook Brest as well. So yeah, 6 plays in total. So as we said, we'd encourage everyone to get on the multi-day package because we'll be releasing games for Monday. There's only a day off on Tuesday, then we're back to Belarus on Wednesday, Thursday. So again, as Carmine said, it's soccer just never stops. It's on almost every day, so it's beneficial to jump on a multi-day package.
Brian Watson asks about the MLS. Brian, we're going to talk about that right after we do the German league. So let's switch our focus to Germany. The Bundesliga season restarts on Saturday. We took a deep look at Bayern Munich's game for this coming Wednesday, on the Wednesday show, sorry. I want to talk to you guys about Dortmund and a Red Bull. Let's go, Nick. Take it over, brother.
Yeah, so we have, Dortmund is playing Schalke, and Carm, I think you'll cover that game. Leipzig, who you just referred to, Red Bull Leipzig, is playing Freiburg. Both games are Saturday. So Leipzig is a team that's very young, very, very good. This match opened at the split line at 2.5 and 3. And honestly, I was looking at releasing that as my top play this week, but it was juiced to the over, and I knew it was going to move quick, which it did to 3. So I just didn't want to put out a stale line for anybody. I still like the over in this one. Leipzig, they're having a fantastic year. I know Carm was high on them this year as well. He had a nice futures bet on them in the Champions League group to win the group, which they did. So shout out to you there, Carm. And now, right now, they're in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, so they're obviously a very well put together team. They're led by 24-year-old Timo Werner, who is just fantastic. He's got 21 goals in 22 games this year. I can't see him honestly wearing this jersey next year. I mean, there's so many suitors out there trying to take him this summer, so it'll be interesting to see if he does. And they have a young American, Tyler Adams, who played on the New York Red Bulls last year. So same ownership. He's now here in Germany playing on this team. But that being said, this is their year to make noise. They've been fantastic all year at home. They're unbeaten in 12 straight, and they have scored 3 or more themselves in 7 of those games. And all but one game, so 11 of those last 12 home games, have reached at least 3 goals. So I think I like the over here. I think a push is a worst case scenario. The last 8 head-to-head meetings between these teams has also all reached at least 3 goals. So we usually see goals in this matchup, and just the way that Leipzig has really been playing this year, I think it's going to be a pretty easy home win for them. They're minus 1.5 on the Asian goal line right now at home, so you could look to that as well. But I like the over here just in case Freiburg scores 1, and then we're not too worried about them having to push forward. So I like the over here, and I think push is worst case. So let's go with that on Saturday morning.
I just want to welcome Giovanni Leone into the chat room. Nice to see you. I don't think I've seen your name before, so we're happy that you took time out of your day to watch our show and participate in the chat. Carmine Bianco, let's talk Germany. You want to talk Dortmund or Leipzig?
Yeah, I'm gonna cover the Dortmund game. Dortmund's at home against Schalke. This is one of those games when we talk about stadiums. Dortmund typically have 80,000 fans at their game. So this is one of those ones that's going to look completely different. The South stands, there have basically 25,000 fans. It's a sea of yellow, which is why they call it the yellow wall, as Nick will tell you, because he's a Dortmund fan, I believe.
Yep.
And it's actually so mesmerizing to watch these games, those huge flags and stuff. But I looked at this line and it just didn't seem right from the get-go. And then the more I looked into it, the more I realized that I may want to stay away from Dortmund in this spot. I know they're one of the top 3 teams in the league, and Schalke's form after the break was absolutely terrible. After that 28-day winter break that they took, they won their first game out against a very good Borussia Mönchengladbach team, 2-0. But then they dropped 7 straight, and not like 7 losses, but there were a combination of losses and draws. They haven't won in 7 straight, outscored 15-2. So why would I want to take them in this spot? Well, 10 of those goals were losses to Bayern Munich and Red Bull Leipzig, 5-0, both of those. The other games were fairly close. This is a team that, that 7-game winless streak dropped them from a Champions League spot to like now 6th in the league, where they're struggling to hold on to a Europa League spot. But I think they can hold on to it. This is a game. It's the Revere Derby. These derby games, sometimes you have to throw the form completely out the window. It happens in Italy. It happens in Spain. It happens in EPL in derbies in Italy, the Derby d'Italia, where the teams just play above their heads in these derbies. And this is probably one of those spots for Schalke. The last 8 derbies between these two teams, they've only lost 1. They've 2 wins, 5 draws, 1 loss, and that 1 loss was a 2-1 result. The line right now is Borussia Dortmund is -1, and I think this is one of those games where closer to game time, and maybe some point today, you're going to see Dortmund get a little bit more money that sees that goal line go to up a quarter goal, where you might be able to get +1, +1.5. And if it does, I'm taking the +1.25 here. I think it could be a tight one, and it could very well end in a draw. So I'm willing to take the plus goal here, and if I can get a little higher on that, I'll take the goal and a quarter.
Kevin Dolan, any thoughts, any free picks for us on German soccer?
Yeah, for sure. I'll go to Nick's game. I'm kind of debating whether to make an actual play on this, but it's definitely, a play that I like. Is look, we're going to look at like Leipzig, definitely one of the hottest teams. We actually gave them out on the Champions League video that we did in Vegas in February at 20-1. They're one of my favorite teams in Europe for sure. And as Nick alluded to, Timo Werner, what a fantastic second behind Lewandowski in goals in the Bundesliga. But nonetheless, look, Leipzig stuttered going into the break. They only won 2 of their 7 games before that. And in 3 of those 7, they went completely scoreless. So, you would look at the 5-0 demolition job they did in Schalke. That isn't totally reflective of their form going in. Now, they've had a chance, obviously, with the break, to try and come out of that, kind of put pressure with that 5-point gap. But nonetheless, we'll see how they do. Now, the play that I like in this is I like Freiburg first half plus a half a goal. The reason for that is like Leipzig, even when they were on top, 12 of their 62 goals, and that's almost a fifth, have come past the point of the 80th minute. So they score very late. They score in it's not garbage time, but they score very late. They've been getting out of jail in a lot of games, and also just adding non-essential goals to games they've already won. On the flip side, Freiburg, 60% of their goals conceded this season have came in the second half, and a quarter of all their goals that they've conceded this season have came past the point of the 80th minute. So we're seeing one team who score very late and one team who concede very late. So I think Freiburg can stay in this game. I like the first half line. You're actually getting plus money at Pinnacle on this. It's plus 112. Freiburg plus a half a goal. So as I say, I'm very I might add this as a personal play for me, but it's definitely a play that I like a lot. He's
Kevin Dolan, our Irishman. Guys, we're going to get into the European update and then call it a show. I just want to say one thing to Carm. I can't wait for puck time to come back, Carm. I want to talk hockey so bad. I'm dying over here. I don't know if you've taken notice, but TSN, which is the Canadian ESPN, has been running hockey games. The Islanders, the Bossy Trottier-led Islanders against the Gretzky-Messier-led Oilers. I have so much to talk about just watching that style of hockey and how empty the nets look with the goalies and actual normal equipment. I am chomping at the bit to talk hockey, bro. But that's for another day. But have you watched any of it?
I have. It's really entertaining to watch, and I catch myself sometimes where I enjoy watching it if I can't remember what the score was.
Yeah.
Happens when you're 51 years old. You forget a lot of things. But I'll watch the games. I'm like, oh, like I was watching 1993, the Leafs and Detroit Red Wings, and it was 4-1 Detroit.
Goal.
Yeah, and I couldn't remember. I completely forgot that the Leafs had come back and won that game. It was like 4-1. I'm like, okay, the Leafs are done. I'm enjoying this, right? Because anytime the Leafs lose, I love it, right? But it is what it is.
But
really enjoying it.
You know, Carm, the thing that has stood out to me the most, and I'll tell you, the Canada Cup with the Lemieux goal, they played Russia a best of 3. Each game ended 6-5. Wayne Gretzky put up 18 points in 3 games against
just unbelievable,
against world-class talent. But the thing that stood out to me the most, and then we got to move on, Carm, because I'm just dying to discuss this hockey stuff, how long the shifts were. Wayne Gretzky doesn't get off the ice. I mean, nowadays, they are 40-second shifts. I'm telling you, if you watch the Islanders Oilers series, these guys were on for 2 minutes.
Yeah, the only comparable thing nowadays in the NHL is maybe on a power play with Ovechkin, where you'll see him almost out there for the full 2 minutes at times, right? He parks himself on that face-off circle spot there for the the cross ice one-timer.
The slot.
Let's
wrap the show up. Carm, Kev, Nick, I need a European update. Carm, you always start first here. So fill us in, and then we'll get some thoughts from the other two boys.
Yeah, the government in the UK has given sport the go-ahead. It's now just the EPL, a series of meetings on safety measure, but and how they're going to play the last 92 games or so. But I think they're on course for their project restart and June the 12th. Spain aiming for June the 12th. The Italian government, the go-ahead they've gotten, so they'll restart on June the 13th.
This is all sounding good.
MLS. Because we're going to switch it over to North America. MLS, this is what the plan is looking like, and we should know more in the next few days. All games to be played in Orlando. The teams will arrive on June the 1st, and they'll start training on June 1st, and then start on July 1st. Well, they'll play through the month of July before they decide on whether to head back to their stadiums or to keep it down there. But all 26 teams will start play in Orlando and restart on July the 1st. That is what they're aiming for as of a couple days ago. And they have more news forthcoming early next week, they said.
Excellent. Dave Koken in the chat room, a legend, joining us. How are you, Dave? And we might do a Thursday, Dave, a Thursday first pitch. We'll figure this out together, me and you, where we talk South Korean baseball. Kevin, do you want to add anything to the European or world soccer update?
I believe by the end of this month, we're going to see Czech Republic back, Denmark back, Poland back. So there's a lot of leagues coming back by the end of May. And again, June, the big boys come back. So, yeah, definitely excited.
I like the month of May. My birthday is May 22nd. Nick, may I ask you what you think about, give us a European world soccer update of anything Carm or Kevin missed.
Well, I think they kind of nailed the leagues. I wanted to address, I saw one question in the chat from David Tabati.
Yeah, well, I was going to get there. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I didn't want to steal your thunder.
No, if anybody deserves to ask questions and have them answered, it's him. And Abel. And Kane.
There's a lot. Exactly. He's asking about home field advantage and how that's going to be affected. So one site I like to use that's I think is very good for soccer power ratings is 538. Spelled out, I'm sure you've heard of it, but spelled out 538.com. And they have on there a 10% adjustment for home field right now, down obviously without their fans in there. So take that for what it's worth. It's not my answer, but it's an answer that I thought is that a good source that I use that has really, really good data on these teams and has good power rankings behind these teams is using. So I found that very interesting. I thought that would be neat to share with David, so he had some sort of basis to kind of go off of.
Kev, anything in the UFC for Saturday night worth betting from your end?
I haven't got the information yet, although on Wednesday night we came off a 2-0 night, so we didn't do so good last weekend on the plays we gave out here. We might have got a wee bit greedy in respects like Qatar by decision. Qatar just ended up winning the fight. Cowboy was on the wrong side. Ferguson got me excited with that second round uppercut that he delivered, but I had the KO at plus 280, but nonetheless fell through. So bounced back on Wednesday, we went 2-0 with Ricky Simon and Ben Rothwell. As we say, I just get this information, pass it on as my own, so but nothing as of yet for this Saturday. I'll be sure maybe to tweet it out if we get something down the line.
Yeah, brother, I'm rolling in the UFC right now. I had Simon as well, Simone, on Wednesday night. I cashed that. I also had Dober. I cashed that. I went 5 out of 6. My only loser was.
And then you got mad at me.
Yeah, yeah. So Nick, Saturday night, Carm sends me 4 parlays. Right, they're all ridiculous. $5 make 12,000, and I'm like, okay, I'm in. I bet all 4. They all lost. Wednesday night, it's midnight. I get a text from Carm. About time my parlay wins, and then there's his parlay. He didn't send it to me.
The one he conveniently forgot?
Yeah.
And listen, it wasn't my picks. I followed the WagerTalk guys.
Oh my God, are they rolling, dude?
Johnny the Greek, they're absolutely rolling. So I just looked at their plays. I fit 4 of them into a parlay and with a nice payout, and they all cashed. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I'm gonna send this to Prez just to piss him off.
Yeah, well, it did. I like Walt Harris at minus 160, but it's going to be a very small bet. I haven't been able to find anything that really stands out to me for the Saturday card, but I do like Walt at a minus 160-ish, but it's not going to be my regular size bet. That's the show, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. Grady Sass, good luck on your Byron over 1.5 in the second half. Simone, hope Dortmund will win by 3 goals for you. Brian, Giovanni, all the Davids, Kane, Abel, we love having you here. What, Kev?
Can I just interrupt 1 second? I'm going to redeem myself with the best joke you've ever heard next week.
Oh, okay? God.
Get prepared. Get prepared.
The best joke ever.
The best joke you've ever heard.
Guys, all I want to say is Nick, Prez, awesome hosting show, but Nick and Kevin, you guys are the breast.
You really are. I mean, Nick's more of the side breast where Kevin is the full-on. Thank you for saying that, Carm. Now Rick won't just lecture me. I hope you guys find this a fun show. We talk sports. We give out a ton of information on the soccer show, but any show I host is going to be kept light and fun. It's a pleasure. Make sure to check back 3 p.m. Eastern for the Pony Pundits with Marco and Sig and the 2 most ridiculous Hawaiian shirts you've ever seen in your life. Boys, thank you. What a pleasure.
Peace
we'll
out.
see you all Wednesday.
See you guys.